Hello everybody, welcome to another day of Cosmoteer. Sorry if it's been a long time. I've been busy, finally got a new job, and here we are going ahead and looking at the new patch build for Cosmoteer 0.28.1. Hello host Hoshel, welcome. Now let's go ahead and let's dive into this and let's go ahead and look at these new ships that they have. So the first ship that we're going to be looking at is in the Monolith built-in ships. Under Monolith, we're going to be looking at the Ambassador. Load this ship in. Now let's go ahead and load in another one. Let's load in the other Ambassador. Let's restart the battle. Let's go ahead and look at it. Now they've changed this. And they have this red and this green circle kind of. They changed this outlook. And there's also this delete button here too. Which is kind of a new interesting patch build feature that they put in. That aside, this particular ship, which I've seen a lot of the designs coming up now, is it's got these three larger shields facing this or three larger shields facing this way. But notice how it's not in a straight line and they're layer stacked. So this one's a little back, this one's a little bit more forward, this one's a little bit more forward. This actually adds a lot more protection because of the layer stacking for it. And also that the AI doesn't hit them as often, because you see the shields are not actually being blown apart and there's enough protection for it. It's actually aiming down the barrel for these whole bunch of just chain guns in the back, so it's pretty interesting. Now this ship does have its flaws, even though it's very strong protected in the front and semi on the side. Obviously its back is very exposed, and then these back thrusters are its only turnability, so if you were to rip these off or destroy them with flankers, this ship would definitely be crippled. The other problem that I see with this ship as well is even though it has these huge MRTs, it doesn't give it maneuverability or turnability with the new patch build, changing it so that they ramp up and they ramp down. For example, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So if we come back over here, we rip off those ships, let's pull in, oops, take off that filter, and then let's come over here and let's pull in one of these. Let's pull in a laser ship. Let's pull in two laser ships and a cannon. So with 1.6 million, so almost a whole million less, and then also half the crew, you're gonna see just how crippling this ship can be if they come into flanking position. Obviously the ship got stuck with this one. I probably should fix this so they don't get stuck there. But what should happen here is the ships, if you control them properly, you come into flanking position from the side and hit them from the side. Now when I was first doing this, and it's been so long, I was over here thinking I was live streaming, but I actually forgot to hit the go live button. So my first test case scenario, I had all three ships survived, and it blew up this one, because you see right here, it doesn't turn very fast. And these ships have a lot of maneuverability. You wouldn't want to ever stay in the front of this actual ship like this, because you can see once you get caught, then you're easily taken out. But these ships right here have a lot of maneuverability. You should easily be able to swipe behind it. But if you ever get in front of it like this, then obviously this ship's going to rip you apart. But you see, it's very slow at turning. So if you control drone ships and came from the back maneuverability and take it out, it's definitely doable. I think my biggest test problem here was I pulled in a cannon ship and I had three laser ships that were actually doing it. So if I had three of these guys, the maneuverability for them actually works better for the flanking positions and getting into proper spaces. So you see right here, they're actually trying to get into a flanking position behind. And this is where this ship right here doesn't even stand a chance, because once you cripple it and take off its actual thrusters, and then it doesn't play out so well. Anyways, enough with showing its weaknesses. Let's go on to the next ship. The next ship we have over here under combat in Monolith is we have an Averter. Now the Averter, because I also already tried to go live when I didn't actually hit the go live button, I only realized it a couple minutes after. So in here, this ship, when facing each other, it doesn't actually showcase how actually well built it is. This is actually a very well built ship for its cost range, and the main reason I'm saying that is because if you look at the design, you got the heavy armor on the front, and then you got shields on the right and shields on the left. Now its biggest flaw obviously is this medium reactor here and the medium reactor here, which are blow-up points for it. Now, when facing each other, that doesn't actually showcase its true reason why I'm saying that this is a pretty decent ship. Is if you come over here and I take my actual built-in ships and we take a diagonal facing ship that's a little bit over, in this case it's 548,000 with 50 crew. This one's got 80 crew and a little less than 500,000. But the main reason why I want to showcase this is you'll see the AI target this side, and then my test, anyways, I'm probably not going to do it now that I'm actually showcasing it, is it would go back and forth between each side, kind of the same thing like how the diagonal ships are facing this way. So it would fire on one side and then it would fire on this other side sometimes. But you can see in this case scenario, it's not doing that. It's just constantly firing one. But once you blow up one blow point, half the ship, more than half the ship is taken out. Control room also was a blow up point with the reactor. But you can see right here, the AI switch targets. Now, you don't normally see this on one of these type of ships. You normally see it on a diagonal ship where they fire one side, fire on this side. This is why these ships are designed this way. Heavy armor on the front, shields on this side, shields on this side. You see, once you take out one reactor, the ship is completely crippled and taken out. But for a non-diagonal facing ship, this is actually a pretty interesting design. I would probably add a little bit more armor and make this up a little bit further. But for its cost range, it's actually a pretty interesting ship. Alright, let's go on back to the next one. The next one that we have here is going to be called the Middleman. Now, the Middleman is a lower cost ship. I'm going to say it's probably between level 3 and level 4. It's a cool little, neat little design. It's got a large cannon, standard cannon, and then it's got a disruptor. It's just something you would face in lower levels. I love the protection that I have for the small reactors. It's not as easy to just blow right through it. You have to take off all those weapon systems and then blow up the reactor. Cockpit is actually well defended in the back, the way that it's designed. So it's a better design than you see than a lot of the beginning ships for its cost range and for what it is, because it's under 100,000. So it's pretty interesting. Neat little Miniman. Alright, let's move on to the next one, which is going to be called the Prefectus. Now, this one right here is definitely very different, and the main reason why I'm saying that this one is different is you got flat cannons facing completely toward the side, and they're set to defend. So if you're trying to hit it from the side with missiles or flanking, I would actually make these for defend and attack. So if the guys try to swarm and sweep you, the flat cannons constantly keep firing at you. That's interesting. That ship just got cut in half. It also has tractor beams, and as you can see, even though the ship got cut in half, they're now two completely separate ships. So even if you were to fire down the middle and break down this with railguns or whatever it is, these ships would break in half, and you have two separate ships actually trying to fire on each other. Obviously not a lot of firepower down the middle anymore. Once you rip it in half, you lose all the actual chain guns, but still an interesting design. Let's go on to the next one. Alright, the next one we're going to go on to is the next faction is called Cabal. In Cabal, we're going to be looking at Alcor. This is an interesting looking one. Oh, look at the ion crystal, whatever these are called. Ion beam prisms. Oh, two beams. Yes, somebody finally did a two beam down the middle with armor down the middle. Obviously the piece just fell off, but that's because it's facing each other. Wow, what an interesting and beautifully painted. And then they destroyed their ion beams at the exact same time. That is a really nice design. 2.5 million. Hold on, I gotta do this test on it now. How does it deal versus swarming? Let's give it a better use case. Let's actually face it versus something like this. How does it do versus two of these? I think it actually has decent maneuverability because you got reverse thrust over here, reverse thrust over here, and you got two ion beams. And then it's got a decent amount of protection here. Oh, and it's even got 6 tractor beams. Okay, so right from the side sweep, you can see right here, it blew up from the weak point from that side. But still, with the double ion beams, it's a pretty interesting, neat design. That's the first time I've seen the in-game designs where they had it, where they have armor and 2 ion beams like that. That's the first. That's pretty neat. Alright, next ship that we have over here is going to be also in Cabal. This is going to be called... We are looking at Atria. This looks like an orbiter. Alright, we got... I just saw the EMP missiles ram into itself. Let's see if the EMP missiles actually work as an orbiter. Look, the EMP missiles are ramming into itself again. That's a bad design. With orbiter versus orbiter anyways. Obviously, they probably wouldn't do the same thing if it was non-orbiter, but look, the missiles are... Probably needs more thrust or something. Okay, so we got ion beams. Ion beams, ion beams. You already ripped off this section. At least they're segregated. For an orbiter, it's a pretty interesting design, and then you got all these point defenses, you got these larger shield stacking. It's actually a pretty interesting orbiter. How much was this thing? 1 million. Okay, it's a 1 million orbiter, so you got, what is this? 3, 6, 9, 12. She's got 12 ion beams. It actually would do really good damage to somebody. It's just having troubles against orbiter versus orbiter because of the stupid EMP missiles kept running into itself. You see this? That's a flaw with orbiter versus orbiter. But still, interesting. I think that would be pretty deadly to run into at the million mark. That is actually a pretty good ship, in my own personal opinion. Alright, next one is going to be Chasing Wind. I'm liking these new names. 2.1 million. Oh, look at that, an orbiter railgun with shields. A lot of shields. What an interesting layer stacking. A lot of orbiters. Yeah, there's a lot of orbiters. Very interesting design. Okay, I just have to see, how does this do actually versus some of the in-game ships that or some of the ships that I built. Let's see, if we're to take one of these, take 2 of these, see how this does. No, Hoshell, this is not the first orbiter in game. So I've seen 2 other versions. Oh, an actual faction. This is probably true. Hoshell, this is probably the first time I've seen a railgun in an actual orbiter in a faction. I know they did some in the contest, but in an actual faction, railgun orbiter, this is probably the first that I've seen of this. Okay, you can see it's definitely got its flaws, its weaknesses. But still, it's the concept is cool. It probably needs to be faster for if you want it to actually work. Alright, let's go on to the next one. The next one that we have here is the D-Crux. Oh, no, I don't know why I'm in Monolith. We're in Cabal. Cabal D-Crux. D-Crux. Alright, 3, 6. Orbital ion beam. This is a smaller version of the bigger one. This would actually be nasty to run into just because I can see its speed is actually decent. It was going up to 80, and it probably can go even faster if it's orbiting around a slower ship. This one is definitely something you don't want to run into at that level. if you have a single ship. Obviously, if you have more than one ship, it's been a while. Wing. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Yeah, it's been a while. I have been busy with my new job, and then I got sick 4 times in a row, and then I passed it to my kid, and then I passed it to my spouse, and then they passed it back to me, and then I got sick 2 more times. So my health was just not good. And then I finally landed a job, and then all I've been doing is working. And good to see you too. Thank you for coming back. D Crux. All right. This is the interesting ship. I'm honestly, how much is this? 600, around 600,000. I bet you in a 1v1 in a 600,000 range, and I'll just take a laser ship on this. That this ship, because it's got 4 large shields, it's got 6 ion beams, it's gonna fly around this other ship super fast, like you see already. It's got great maneuverability as an orbiter, and then it's got the EMP missiles that are gonna hit from weird angles. Maybe, obviously I have point defenses on this ship. But you can see right here, this orbiter in a 1v1 battle, it is going to take this other ship out, probably no problem at all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is an interesting one. If you're gonna take an orbiter and you want to take a good design, orbiters work well when you've got fast maneuverability, constant, nice damage. EMP missile stock seems kind of low, but you can see right here, it's going to take this other ship out, not a problem at all. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Done admiring that one. Let's go on. Let's go back to Cabal. And then we got a Lazarite. What? Lazarite tier. 1.801,000. Sorry, 181,000. Ooh, a laser ship. You know I like energy ships. Lasers with disruptors. Interesting armor design choice. I think they changed the animation on the small thrusters. Do the small thrusters hold more than one energy bar now, or was this little tiny things? Okay, so it still is only one, but they changed it. Sorry, I'm admiring the animations as they changed the game. So these still small, these little thrusters, this looks different from the original small thrusters that I'm used to seeing. Now there's this little tiny movement in there, so they're different. Cool. Interesting design. Alright, there's a lot of ships to cover in this patch build. So we got another one that's called the I can't pronounce that. Menkalinian. Sorry, I'm butchering the name for sure. Alright, so we got heavy lasers, disruptors. Oh, ion beams in the middle. Interesting ion beam choice. With shields. I like this layer stacking of small shields. I'm gonna say this looks pretty and neat. I love this wavy design. It makes it look very alien-like. And then the ion beam design choice here. This is such compressed and actually very effective, as you can see, layer stack with this and this. This is a deadly heavy weapon system. 1.2 million. I'm actually curious to see how this does versus another ship. I'm just gonna face 1 versus 1 on this and see. Now, the cannon ship's probably gonna pound through and do a decent amount of damage wherever it's gonna target from. Maybe. You can see they actually took its first barrage, no problem at all, right here with the shield layering. And even if you destroy one of the wings, you still have these ion beams ripping apart. So it's segregated, so it has 3 different damage outputs. It's got the ion beams, it's got this section, you blow up this section can still keep hitting you. So that's what I was saying, this is a pretty neat, interesting design. I don't like the AI's choice when choosing to fire on this, I don't know why. For in-game ship, the firepower on the ship is something you would expect from a player-based ship. Namkiro, hi all, welcome. This is a player-based damage. This is a neat ship. I mean, yes, the deck cannon one, this one, you know, is winning in the sense where it has more armor and everything, but for an in-game ship, look how much damage it did. Normally you don't see this much damage on your own ships versus a in-game ship. So this is a pretty interesting one. That is one I probably want to actually work on in the future. I'll make a note to myself to look at. In fact, you know what? I should have saved it. Let's do that. Where'd it go? There it is. Let's take this one. Let's save this ship design. I do like it. It actually is kind of neat. I'm sorry, I've been away for so long. We are just gonna put this in. We'll put this in number 7. Okay, we'll work on that one later. All right, so the next one that we want to pull in is where my ship's going to built in. We'll go to Cabal under combat. Are there any more? There's one more. Zaruk. I'm butchering these names, I know it. Is this an orbiter? Wow, that's a massive orbiter. It is massive. I've not ever seen an ion orbiter that big before. This is the first I've seen of this size for ion beams. Usually they're decked at 2.6 million. I'm really curious to see how much damage this thing does. Let's take in I'll just keep testing with this then. Can I handle 2 of these? I'm thinking at least one of these ships is going to be ripped apart really quickly with the amount of damage output on this thing. Okay, maybe not. For some reason it had this huge weak point there. But you can see once its weight was reduced, now it can actually maneuver. And it's still got a decent amount of damage output. Yeah, see, it's going to rip that ship apart, then it's going to go to the next one. Yeah, this is an actually very deadly... If it can maneuver, I think it just lost its maneuverability. But yeah, it definitely ripped one apart, no problem. So yeah, unless you only have 2 ships versus something like this, you're going to have interesting, or even 1 ship. If you're doing 1 versus 1 on this, I don't envy you on that one. Alright, that's an interesting ship. Alright, we're done with Cabal. We got Cabal trade ships now. Okay, so civilian ship. These ones, I think we're just going to pull them all in and look at them because they're not combat ships. Okay, maybe it's not. What is this? Added 3 new Cabal trade stations. Okay. Trade stations. They got a small Cabal trade station 3. Small Cabal trade station number 3. They got a medium trade station. Medium. Cabal trade station number 3. And then they also have a large Cabal trade station number 3. Alright, we're just going to look at them. Oh, looks like a little star. And it rotates. Honestly, the people that taken the time to paint these, really nice. Only tractor beams and no damage output at all. Okay. And this has got 4 tractor beams. What's planning to do with just 4 tractor beams and no offensive? Still, beautiful paint design. I'm sure that when it has the actual platforms that are defending it, but they rotate and they paint. I mean, really well painted. Very beautiful. Whoever took the time to do that, pretty nice and amazing. All right, we got Imperium. Let's go to Imperium. Imperium combat ships. We got the ANI. Now, I have high expectations for Imperium ships because they usually are what we consider boss level ships. Is that a single chain gun on it? Yeah. But it's well protected. Like, really well protected. Huh. That is a really nice design. Layer stack with the little tiny hole up the middle. Tons of armor to protect it, and then you got tons of shields to protect it too. How much does this cost? 249, so 250,000? I don't think any of my 250,000 ships stand a chance against that. Even if I were to take this, which is a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think this ship's gonna handle this. It's got so much armor. You got layer stacking of shields. Now this ship's gonna lose. Okay, we'll speed this up a little bit. So my curiosity. Okay, I like. Still, it's an interesting ship. I mean, this can be built upon more. This one's just been. It's got a lot of firepower on it. But that is an interesting ship. All right, let's go to the next one. Imperium Combat. Dromicus. How do they come up with these names? That is a lot of cannons. Reminds me of a way modified version of a blacksmith that has literally been segregated out. I love the segregation. You got section. So even if you take out one section, the other sections are going to fire upon. This is segregated cannons. What a neat idea. And the literally tries to fire on the outer ones first, the inner ones. Honestly, take the design and put more heavy damage in the inner parts, and the outer parts will be lesser damage. And if the AI actually fires on the outer parts first, what a deadly ship. Holy cow, this is what, 1.7? This is a deadly ship. 1.7. I just have to see how it handles flanking. Obviously mine costs more than that, a little bit less crew, but the damage output on this thing should be decent. Yeah, look at it. It is ripping apart. And we haven't even taken out one section, so it's finally got one section, and now it's going to go to the next one. And this thing's already crippling. Yeah, took one ship out, and then this one's going to take out this. So this is handling it very well. Because all the angles. Okay, so this ship right here is a neat design. So if you're going to take in segregations for ship damage and you're trying to mitigate how much damage you take and how much damage you can deal, this is a neat ship. That is a neat ship. Very nicely designed Imperium ship. Let's go on to the next one. Next one we got is SUL. So I can't pronounce that. Sula? Sula. What is this? 700,000. I'm thinking it's an. Okay, I was thinking missile boat, but it's a nuke. It's a nuke boat. reminds me of a worm or something. Still, if you were to run into like two of these from two different angles. Oh, nasty. For 700,000, that's nasty. And because of how they're layer stacked, each one hits, then it actually does damage as it goes in. That is a nice ship. It's a boomstick, exactly. It's an interesting boomstick. Alright, the next one we have here, Imperium, is the Swallowtail. Swallowtail. 125,000. Ooh. I like its maneuverability for its size. You have macro thrust, force thrust, side thrust. It's a skirmisher. It's an actually very good skirmisher. Like if you were to get swarmed by one of these, how much is this? 121,000? So if you were to take in several of these guys, right? Even just 3 of them. And I would take just one of my ships. Just one of these. You see 78 crew, 377,000. Way cheaper. But I'm thinking 3 of these guys. You see how they can nicely just smoothly go to the side. Stay within whatever range they want. Do they have disruptors? Okay, that's its weakness. It doesn't have any disruptors on it. But it's a good skirmisher, as you can see right here. It can get from different angles, and it can do exactly what I was anticipating it to do. Yeah. I'll just look at the damage. It took off its back wing over here, and if you can get in the right angles, it's tanking this ship and then doing damage from the back. But I can see right here, it doesn't have disruptors, so it can't take off shields. But 3 of these ships could definitely win versus this one, especially if you're controlling them. So, very, very nice skirmisher. That is a nice design. I like the thruster placement on that one. Imperium. Let's go on to the next one. We got Tina Mao? Tina Mao. Let's put this one. Tina Mao. Why am I thinking of some kind of beetle? What am I looking at? Okay, so you got chain guns, and nukes. And shields. The nukes literally ripped off the side. Oh, this would be so nasty to run into early game. You got 4 nukes, 2 on each side for 485,000. You run into this early game, and whatever ship's gonna run into it, you're gonna take heavy damage. Because you got nukes on both sides. It's got decent movement because it's got engine rooms. Well, I mean decent turnability because you see it turns, and then it's got the chain guns just to constantly mash you. It's well protected from near all angles because the cockpit here. This is going to be a deadly ship to run into early game, early and mid game. This is a very deadly ship. Well protected cockpit. Yes, it has a weak point right here, but by the time you destroy one of these, you're going to sustain a lot of damage. There's no doubt about it. Because even if you're trying to fly around a turn, the nukes are going to hit you from different angles. Because they got nukes on both sides. And it's very well protected, and you can see it can turn very well. That is not a ship I want to run into in the game. Alright, we are done with those ones. We have a trade ship, so a civilian. They got a ping. What is this? I don't know why the civilian ships are painted a completely different color than Imperium. Alright, just a cargo ship. So we'll just admire its design on the outside. I love the paint design. Makes it look like some kind of phoenix or bird or something. And then all the thrusters on it. It's got great maneuverability for a diagonal facing ship. Honestly, take this thruster placement and then put weapons on it. And then build it out. I like this thruster placement. For a civilian ship, if you were going to take a design, you want to modify it, this is an interesting thruster placement right here. It gives it, look at its ability to move and turn and get into position. The thruster placement alone, I would take that design and rebuild upon it and then fix the front head. Because a lot of times I look at ships and I'm thinking, okay, if I take over this ship, how can I change it to make it better? And that one's got an interesting thruster placement. All right, we got 3 new arms depot. Are they call them arm depot now? Arm depots. Tiny Imperium Arm Depot 1. Okay. Small Imperium Arms. Small Imperium Arms Depot 2. Medium Arms Depot 2. Oh, they're not on the small one? Small Imperium Arms Depot 2. Okay. Oh, they are actually stations. No, they're arms depots. Holy molies. That's got a lot of nukes on it. What about this one? Oh, this one's got even more nukes. Have we seen any space stations with nukes? Is this the first time we're seeing this? I know, actually I've seen smaller ones with nukes. This is the first time I'm seeing big space stations with nukes. I've seen smaller little depots and stuff with nukes, but this is... I wouldn't even want to engage this one from close up. Obviously you can take it out with rail guns or far range weapons and stuff like that, because I don't see any far range anything on this. But if you were trying to play my playstyle and run in and try to take on this, just wow, what kind of damage you're gonna take. I think I should try that. I think I should make a video on this. Let's write that down. Try to take on a medium Imperial Arms Depot 2, and obviously it would be hard to find one in game, but just do a test case scenario and take some of my ships and see, can you beat this up close and not defeat it with far range weapons? I'll make myself a little note to try that sometime, and maybe we'll live stream it and see how it actually works out. Alright, Fringe, we're on Fringe. Fringe combat ships. There is Clintominesta? It reminds me of those old European ships that they're saying. Santa Maria or something, whatever, I don't know. Clintominestria? Totally pronouncing it wrong, I know. This is an interesting armor placement. And then you got missiles and ion beams. Is it supposed to look like a ship carrier? I'm thinking of the US ships, the ship carriers. And it's got all these jet cannons on the side, on the back. You can fly a little. All it needs now is these little tiny aircraft carriers to take off little ships to fly off. In a front-to-front battle, this ship's going to do a lot of damage. Now, it's obviously got its weak points in the back because its back's exposed. But in a front-to-front battle, this ship's going to do a lot of damage. Very interesting design. Even a rail ship would have some problems, so yeah, this ship's gonna do a lot of damage to you. That's a big ship. Alright. Emissary. 2,370,000. Missiles and nukes. That's an interesting reverse thrust choice right there. Why do I keep thinking of a Born cube? Interesting design. Really interesting tech cannon placements, and you're gonna sustain some damage from engaging the ship, that's for sure. Because this is actually pretty well protected for thrusters placements in the back. And I actually kind of like it. Standard thrusters right down the middles right here. There's 3 of them. That's to help it slow down as fast as possible with the least amount of time. Wow, what an interesting ship. I kind of like it. Yeah, if you run into this ship in the game with the nukes placed in the front, I honestly should have nukes here and nukes like in the back. So you have nukes in the front side over here and the nukes in the back side over here from 2 different angles. That would just make this even better. Paradox says, all these ships are better than anything I can make. Well, I'm pretty sure if you spend the time, you can make some pretty neat, interesting ships. But yeah, some of these are ships that are, wow. They're definitely coming out with some neat ships. This is pretty neat. But yeah, my personal opinion, I'm just thinking of how to make it better, right? You got these nukes in the front from this angle. Put nukes right back here from this angle on back here. And you'll have nukes hitting this side, nukes hitting this side. And just, wow. Yeah, this would hurt a lot. But that's what I would, if you were to take over the ship and you wanted to improve it, that's the first improvement I would do, is put their nukes here, put nukes back here at a different angle. Then you got nukes hitting from this side from that angle, nukes hitting from this side from a totally different angle. And yeah, it would do deadly damage. Okay, Quicksilver Interceptor. Okay, a small one. Wait, did I just pull in the wrong one? I'm sorry, it's supposed to be the Scout. Quicksilver Scout. Ooh, little tiny lasers and cannons. Yeah, flanking on the other ship is definitely one of the only. Wow, this is a skirmisher scout first. How much is this? For its cost range, that is a lot of damage. 100,000, under 100,000. Yeah, even if I were to take one of these. I mean, I'm pretty sure this ship's going to win because this doesn't have any disruptors. But if you were to take 2 of these guys, look at this. Just think about it, right? You take a Fringe, you take a Quicksilver Scout, you take 2 of these guys, which is literally only, it's under 200,000. 32 crew, obviously it takes a lot of crew to crew this thing. But if you take 2 of these guys, it's ripping off most of the shield. And then instead of it deciding to engage from far away in a front-to-front conflict, if this thing were to, I guess it doesn't have any side flanking. Okay, it's missing thrusters to go side to side. But it's got cannons and it's got lasers. And if you got a swarm by these things, I mean, it's not destroying the ship and stuff, but its damage output is pretty decent for its cost range. Its crew is its biggest downfall, 16 crew members for its cost range, but it's still pretty neat, pretty interesting. Now, in this patch, they've obviously added a whole bunch of other different new updates. I didn't even read through them. I was just getting back into the swing of making more videos and live streaming. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to hit the like button. It helps me out a ton. Helps push out this content to other people, bring awareness to it. If you like, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, especially what you don't like, so that I can improve and make better content. If you have not already, please feel free to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay as well. Come back once a week, once a month. Check out what content I have. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. You will have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm Kiro. Thank you so much. I am happy to be back as well. Catch you all in the next one.